Hello and welcome, heroes, to the Crit Academy. I am your host and dungeon master, Total Dumas. Ha 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 ha. I am really excited. This is episode 15, or part 15, of our Descent into Avernus bi-weekly campaign. This is kind of far away. I should probably bring it down a little bit.
It's quiet.
What's that?
It's in kind of quiet, actually. But
That's because it was way over here. I didn't actually pull it up close to me. So I'm really excited. If you don't know, Crit Academy is a Dungeons and Dragons discussion podcast that goes live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We talk Dungeons and Dragons, monsters, magic items, D&D player and dungeon master tips, all kinds of really cool stuff to help inspire you and scratch that D&D itch when you can't get to a table. So definitely consider checking us out. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Crit Academy, and of course follow us on YouTube and Twitch. Why don't we spend a minute, each of you tell who you're playing, and then Matt, do you want to give us the rundown of what happened last time on Descent into Avernus, and what is the current plan moving forward? Why don't you go ahead and go first, describing who you are or who your character is.
Hello everyone, my name is Matthew, and I am playing Chiron, the Tiefling Paladin of Bahamut, who has taken the Oath of Vengeance. Last time, in our campaign of Descent into Avernus, we were portraying our other characters from a campaign we did not air, unfortunately, known as the Asher Crows, as our group is called. I was Garmor, a druid. We basically infiltrated the flying fortress of Zariel. Managed to find the High Overseer of Elturel, which is Thavius Krieg, whose city is currently in hell because of the contract he made with Zariel. And as a result, he was turned into some sort of devil creature with powerful magics and all that stuff. And we struck a deal with him. The Ash Bros. They struck a deal with him. He allowed himself to be a distraction for our group as we stealthily snuck into Zariel's personal chambers to take the keys of the companion, which is what binds Elturel into Avernus. And so we somehow, with great fortune, we managed to sneak them out and fly out of the fortress via the garbage chute of the entire fortress. And we managed.
Very crazy.
And after 3 days of travel, we managed to insert the keys into the companion, and that is where we left off from the Ash Crows. And I believe that was our last session with the Crows.
And I do think we did stream that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We just didn't stream the previous campaign for them.
Right. I got you. Okay, I got you. And while we're on that subject, what happened last time with the Crimson Exiles, who we are back to taking control of now?
Well, we are searching for a sword somewhere in Avernus that is the center of a scab of the world. And the only person who knows of this is this somewhat amnesiac Hollyfat named Lulu, who is
putting it correctly.
Who once was the familiar of Zariel when she
was still an angel.
Was still an angel before she fell under the corruption of Asmodeus.
Good old Asmodeus, doing a whole bunch of bad stuff.
And after we made our way to the surface, after taking a rest, she got kidnapped by a swarm of devil wasps.
That sucked.
Yep.
And
yep.
And so we found ourselves in a sticky situation.
I see what you did there. Plus 10 cool points.
And so we managed to get ourselves into a hot mess. My character Chiron almost died. Actually, he did die, but I used a plot point to keep him from dying.
Restore him.
Yeah. And so we,
Bahamut said your time was not yet.
yeah, pretty much. And so we managed to rescue Lulu and barely get out of there. And she remembered of 2 places that each
Like
have
lead
a
us
saint
there?
that would guide us as to where to go to where this scab in Avernus is. One, I believe, is called the place where demons manifest and the place where demons are destroyed. We went with the latter. And so that is where we took our long rest for this session at the end of the session, and that's where we left off.
Yeah.
All right. Very
Pretty
good.
thorough.
Are you eating with chopsticks, Ian?
That's what I noticed too.
I guess we'll never
Yep.
know. Oh,
I
Yep.
said yeah.
oh, dude, that's impressive. I just use a fork.
Dude. Yeah, same.
Kudos to you.
Wait.
I would probably lose a lot of weight if I tried to eat with chopsticks, though, because it would just all keep falling through.
Don't want to start then.
Ian, since we got you on center, do you want to tell us about who you're running?
All right. I am running Merle Bronson, human artificer, who managed to escape said sticky situation rather explosively. And I guess Thunderwave, and
But
then
I-
stuck on that optic.
You guys are really punny today. I like it.
I was thinking he was going to go with thunderous or booming.
Yeah.
All good enough.
All right.
Yep.
Austin?
Hi guys, I'm Austin, co-host of Crit Academy. I am running Zorax, who is the Voidwalker Paladin, which is one of our homebrew things that me and Justin had created. Interesting. Being able to play it. I am a very angry angel boy. That's the sum of my character. He solves problems with the sword, and he also solves them with his fists. Never anything else.
Accurate. Accurate. All right. So now that everyone's all caught up, you guys have been traveling for what seems like weeks. Your feet are aching. You're exhausted. Your stomach is constantly grumbling because it's hard to find anything reliable to kind of to munch on. You do manage to stumble across a few, strange. I almost want to say like small towns in your passing, I guess. I use that term loosely. With all variety of types of critters, using your amazingly masterful stealth skills and which is not accurate at all. Using all the techniques and everything in your know-how, you've had to kind of scavenge and find whatever you can to make it through. Throughout this, you've been guided by your cute little Hollyphant, Lulu, and you guys have come to the place she's been leading you. As you guys arrive, you're sweaty and nasty, and there's blood still on your armor and ichor from all the things you've been fighting and making your way, trying to survive out in the depths of Avernus. You arrive and there's
Because hot as hell here.
the acrid smog swirls around this massive barren hill, rising from which is a large giant tombstone. You see a pair of leaning monoliths, each soaring more than 50 feet in the air into a smoky red sky. Dozens of armored knights kneel in motionless reverence before the monoliths, between which is set a set of onyx steps leading down under the massive bulge in the surface.
All right
Hmm.
then.
Anyone have any idea what's going on there?
Lulu, do you know what this is?
She had a southern voice accent, right?
I believe so.
Because that's what you default to.
I feel like I recognize this. I know I've seen them before. Soldiers of Zariel for sure. But I don't right I don't rightly know. Like a taste of a food that you can't quite recall what it was. It, it's there. I feel it. Maybe I know it's of importance, but I'm not quite sure why. Um, maybe we can go inside and maybe there's more. Maybe more that'll jog my memory a little bit, or maybe there'll be some more information. I think. Darling boys, I'm sorry. It's so inconvenient. I can't remember nothing. I know how critical this situation is. Man, I miss Zariel. She's such a sweetheart and a darling. It's a shame what
Hmm.
happened.
I don't think those words suit the name Zariel very much. But I'll
Well,
let it slide.
Anymore?
Was she before? I always assumed she was a commanding force.
well,
I don't know if...
you can be a sweetheart and a commander. See, the beauty of her being my partner is I got to see a side of her that she didn't reveal to many others. Now I'm sure she doesn't reveal that to anyone.
Perhaps.
She starts kind of floating around a little bit. You guys spot off in the distance this massive, like, dust cloud, like, shooting up as if something's running or screeching across the land. Like in, like, a cartoon where you get the big billows of something. You just see this thing, I mean, it's just, whatever it is moving at an insane rate off in the horizon.
I'm gonna manifest my arcane turret.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that is not a horse doing that.
I would agree.
Because, that's fast. Pleasantly fast.
Is it coming our way?
It is not. It's like off in the distance, just driving down. Just something that kind of drew your attention.
Huh.
Be really handy if we had one of those.
Yeah.
What, the speed? The speed of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm tired of walking in hell. It's
Let me
awful
know.
here. Good thing when I die, I won't be here. I'll be somewhere far more boring, but nicer than here.
Not a hot bar to hop over.
No, it's not.
So the steps lead into this dust cloud between the monoliths?
Yeah, and there's a massive collection of kneeling knights just outside in a line with like an open path in between them. Kind of like
Are
if you
they-
envision knights on their kneeling towards this monolith, and then there's an opening walking path in between them. Like if you kind of like knights at a wedding sort of thing, right? They're all in
Yeah.
in rows.
They're not
Right.
they're not alive, are they?
They're motionless. They're motionless as far as you can tell. You guys
They
are
look
still
like
a good
statues, or
good
they
50
look like
feet
they're-
away. So
I'm gonna get close to them a little bit and use divine sense.
all right, how far does
Ah.
divine sense go?
60
It's
feet.
60 feet.
Sent it
yeah.
on me.
You don't sense anything coming from. You don't get no farty smell in the air or pinging, echoing indication of anything triggering your divine sense in the area.
Hmm.
Huh.
Anything?
Nothing.
Weird. Particularly since this is hell, and I would be damn sure something invisible would be here. But you know, on the bright side, that doesn't seem to be the case.
I was expecting, since these were soldiers of Zariel, that they would have some sort of celestial reaction to my sense.
I walk up to one of the statues, and do they seem assumingly statues, do they seem to be particularly like devil warriors, or do they seem like humanoid?
Um, each of the knight wears a faded regalia of Elturel. You can see that the knight's armor appears to be serving as some sort of casket for their bones, but for some reason their bodies still stay upright in this kneeling position. Their foreheads resting on the pommel of their swords, but they are certainly corpses.
Do you think they fought here long time ago?
I
There
would
was a
say
big war that is happening.
right.
Who knows?
Zariel led the charge against. These must have been the Hell Riders.
Would make sense.
Left of them anyway. Such as they
Yeah.
are.
She says, "That's why I recognize them. I knew I recognized these things. I think. Actually, I'm not really sure. But they certainly seem familiar."
I guess we just keep on walking forward. Obviously, they're leading towards something.
Yeah.
In remembrance.
All right, so as you guys walk up this center line in between, these rows of dozens and dozens of knights, a pair of basalt doors block the passage ahead. Their surfaces engraved with a relief of a knight locked in combat with the devil, both wielding flaming, burning swords. She says, "I know this symbol. I know. Why do I know? I know this symbol. I've seen it before, but I don't know where."
Can I make a religion check?
Sure.
Got a +3. Oh, that's not too bad. 19?
Go away, dog. Leave me alone. You can tell that the image is a battle between a celestial and one of the archdevils, but you're not sure which one. The knight may actually be Zariel. Now, the more you look at it, but you're not. You can't be 100% sure.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely certain, but this celestial might be Zariel, and this must have been an archdevil. What if this entity was the archdevil Zariel fought before she was trapped here?
Could this also be possibly where the sword may be around? It's unlikely considering we're looking for a scab, but considering that this seems to be a battlefield, you would think like a relic would be here.
Well, with the Hell
Unlikely as
Riders,
it is.
well, with the remains of the Hell Riders here, and this, and I point to the image,
It's just
being here, this might be some sort of
Is there
sanctuary,
anything
but for
else
what?
around? Is it just these statues and this monolith with a giant?
I mean, you're in a set of stairs that go down into the ground partially into this massive bulge in the ground. So it obviously leads to some sort of underground cavern or tome or something. But there isn't anything else or anything nearby that stands out.
Okay.
You
Is-
do
Right.
you do
We just have
notice
to, Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
you do notice that there's no visible handles, locks, or bolts on this door.
So maybe a command word would open it.
Huh.
But what?
Do you guys want to give me an investigation check?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Sure.
I'll use my shrewd investigator here.
Can I assist him?
Sure.
Those
Do
are
you not have
D12s, right?
What's that?
For
I think
the
so.
talents,
I think
they're
so, yeah.
D12s, right? Yeah.
You have assistance also.
Wow. 24.
As you start kind of feeling around and looking around, you are unable to find any like switches or secret levers or any sort of gizmo that would open the door, suggesting it must be opened otherwise. As you suggested, likely a passcode, maybe magic. There are some cracks in there, so if you were small enough, maybe you could fit through them. But uh, these doors are pretty big. You don't think you could just push them open.
Hmm.
Huh. I say in Celestial, open.
Well, that didn't work, darling. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna try something, and I draw the blade of Bahamut,
Of course
Okay.
you do. Okay.
and
You draw it and
And-
it glows brilliantly.
any reaction?
No.
Dang.
Lulu does look at you. Says, "That's such a pretty weapon. Zarya used to have something similar to that. It's much brighter than yours. But don't worry, hon. Size doesn't matter."
I roll my eyes.
I I don't know. Like it can't be something as simple as just like pressing my hand against it and being like shove. But I'm gonna do it. I'm
Go
gonna
ahead. Give me a
attempt to give
strength
it
check.
like
Athletics. Yeah, give me an athletics check.
I'm gonna give it a push. 20.
You feel it give just a little bit
Wow, I'm strong.
as you push on it, and then you realize it's not moving. You're sliding backwards.
Okay. I was gonna say, wow, I am a lot stronger than I think I am.
Do you want to give me an intelligence check there, Merle?
Sure. I have if it's just straight intelligence, 17.
Investigation. Sorry.
20 then.
So while they're up looking at the door, you continue kind of poking around, and you spot on the how do I want to do this? You spot on one of the knights a set of rusted tags on them, with something engraved in them. What languages do you speak and read?
Conic, Elvish, and Infernal.
You
Common, of course.
don't recognize the words on the dog tags or the medallions wrapped around.
me
What
Yeah.
you
it.
looking over the? What you looking over there, Merle?
He don't know apparently.
There's dog tags on these knots, but I can't read a dang thing on them because I don't know the language.
I can
I walk-
comprehend all languages,
Well, that's convenient.
isn't
You
it?
still have that?
Yeah, it's a spell. I know it from Voidwalker.
I forgot
I
about
just
that,
keep it.
or did I?
Let me see that. Or I guess I could just go to any of them. I assume.
Did you cast your comprehend languages?
Yes, I do.
The
I might not have knew. Actually, before I do that, let me read it in Celestial first, in case it's just Celestial.
It says for glory in celestial.
For glory.
You notice that on all the knights they're wearing these dog tags, these medallions that have the same phrase in them.
Well,
It couldn't be as simple as that, could it?
I go up to the door and I hold up this dog tag and I say, "For glory."
What language?
In Celestial, of course. Duh.
Well,
I'm a Celestial.
there's a reason it's
in
called
Celestial.
common, right?
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
As you speak this radiant language, the door with a big boom, and it opens wide like a big deep throat.
You want these back, Merle?
Uh,
I go to put it back on the soldier who was there. Because
Okay.
he's a soldier, and I'm
That's awfully
militia
considerate
as
of
well.
you.
It's one of the few things that I can have because it's one of the few things this character understands. It's like, you served here and you fought a damn battle, man. This is yours.
All
You need
right.
to keep that for whoever, whatever loved one, whenever they may find you. They at least know it was you. Alternatively, I guess I could try and find them, but nah, that's not me.
So as you guys descend down the stairs, the stone stairs go another probably 50 feet before you come to a T intersection going left and going right. The smell
like to say-
of dust and hang on a second. The smell
I'd like
of
to say,
go ahead.
I'd like to say for our marching order, I would say I would go first because I have a glowing +2 longsword.
That's fair, yeah. Merle can see if it's dark.
I have ways.
True, but this is convenient, and his sword's already out.
All right, so you can as you look down each hallway, they go probably another 50 feet or so before you can't see in them. There are no sources of light in here, though. So
Except for the sword.
except for the one that's glowing. I keep forgetting who has dark vision.
We do, but Merle doesn't.
Merle's the one that doesn't. So Merle, you can't see but this little tiny glowing sword. Do you want to
A fake cigar.
and a fake?
It's
Okay.
fake.
So is that enough light for you?
It's 10 feet at least, so between that and the sword.
You should be okay. All right. So you light up your fake cigar.
My man.
10 feet.
In which direction do you guys want to go? It's hard. You can't really. There's no real smell differences, or you can't really hear anything. It's all pretty quiet. The only sound is a bit of skittering down the right hall, and what sounds like maybe some dripping liquid from down the left hall.
I investigate this T section,
It's
seeing if there's anything that, or survival. I'll use survival actually.
okay. And what are you
I wanna see if-
survivaling?
I want to see if there's like any anything that gives off like clearly like one way has been more traveled than the other.
Yeah, give me a survival check. That's really good.
19.
So as you
That's very
start kind of looking down on the floor, you can actually see very worn prints, but dust has coated them. But there seems to be a thinner layer to the right that seems more recent, but neither are recent in days, probably years.
Right. So the one to the right's been more traveled, but the one to the left has not been. But the thing is the one thing I'm worried about is that if one way was less traveled, would that mean that those who obviously know about this place have gone that way, and everyone else always assumed the other way? That's my only issue. But I don't know what else I can glean from. The one to the right has been more traveled, so I guess we'll go right. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. I'll
Cool.
lead.
All right.
All right, so you make your way down the hall, and as you enter this large large chamber, the stone kind of goes out and rounded up above you. Large iron burial urns are positioned reverently throughout this hall, each engraved with noble coat of arms from the city of Elturel. Polished swords, lances, and shields hang from racks on the walls. and you can see three of these urns.
Or relics of the fallen, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, are these like
I-
particularly polished? Like they look
Yes,
rather new?
they look. The ground
like
is
rusted at all.
coated in dirt, but these look like they've been taken care of.
Magical
Someone lives
urns?
here.
I use divine sense again.
Hang on a second here. What all does divine sense pick up?
Fiends, undead, and celestials. I
Within
think.
60 feet.
Okay.
That is not behind total cover.
The I'm gonna say the urns give off a resonance of undead, a ping of death.
Residents?
Not residence, resonance. Whatever.
Oh, I thought like there's clearly an undead living in there. I was
Well,
like,
I was
time to stab
torn.
the urn.
I was torn because technically, if they're a part of it and bound to it, they're really inside, which is out of line of sight. But then it just seemed ridiculous, so I just like whatever, we'll go with it. So yes, that you get a ping of undeath from the urns.
I point at the urns. Undead.
That's unsettling. Are they guards? Think they can take care of the armor? That'd be funny.
Polishing your own urn for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Would I know anything about this? Undead and urns.
Give me a religion check.
Woohoo!
There's just like a religious skeleton just sitting in there. It'd be weird.
Natural 20 plus 3.
It's very common for knights and soldiers to bury the remains of their allies in urns. It's a pretty common practice, especially in cities of war.
But usually they don't have something still kind of living in there.
Undead.
Well, you are in hell, so things aren't going to be exactly the same.
Hey, Merle.
Yo.
I'm not too keen about these urns filled with undead essence in them. Think you can shoot them?
What
Isn't
makes
that
you
sacrilegious?
think
Ah,
the holding place for that creature's a good idea? My experience of undead is you leave it alone. Hope for the
yeah.
best.
Yeah, nothing is popped out or anything on you, at least yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I think we just move on.
I
As long as we don't touch
carefully,
any of their stuff, I think we should
I
be
carefully walk forward.
okay. Yeah.
All right, so as you enter, as you're in the center of this room, to your left in the corner of the room is an exit, and then there's another one straight in front of you. You can let me look here really quick. Yeah, so one looks like it's a much longer hallway that's right in front of you, but then the one on the left corner seems to veer at an angle.
I guess I'm gonna survival check again.
To the
possible.
left, you see relatively fresh prints, not to be confused with Will Smith. Just fresh prints, not prints. And much more so than you had seen previously. But they're not recent as in days, but maybe months.
Do they look like human boots? Humanoid?
Ish. It's hard to tell because they're old, but yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely not foot and claws and shit.
Okay, that's what I was kind of leaning towards.
Yeah,
I say we take the
some
left
like a set of boots, maybe
Yeah.
big boots. Big boots.
Who would live here?
I don't know.
Someone who didn't want to live out here.
Very true. I'm gonna say anything that doesn't want to be out there. Well, here's the thing, right? If the only way you could have gotten in is if you knew the celestial language and said "for glory" to the door, or you shoved the door open. How big are these footprints again?
Bigger than yours by a good size.
I vote we do not go in that direction.
Yeah, I'm starting to think like maybe this thing might have been the one to push the door open. Do we want to go the other way?
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, I think this time we'll go the other way.
How's Merle feel about that?
He's just going with the flow at this point, because the way I see it, anything that's in here we're going to bump into eventually.
True.
Interesting approach.
We'll
He's
go
not
the
wrong.
other way for now.
The long way?
Yeah.
All
Way
right,
that's
so
less traveled apparently.
so you
And
turn.
not recently traveled.
So the fear of what you may find, resonates within, and you guys are wiser than that. So you turn your way back around, and you enter back in through the large room with the urns. Still, nothing seems out of the ordinary, other than that the urns are polished. You make your way to your left down the hallway that was in front of you, and as you go down it. You see recesses in the walls that seem to hold iron burial caskets. Each casket has a single healthy red rose resting on its lid.
The heck?
Well, that would mean they would have had to been here in the very recent time, like days.
That's interesting.
What the heck is this place?
Well, if they're honoring the dead, clearly they can't be that crazy bad. So I continue forward.
All right, so you make your way past one, past two, past the third one of the caskets. Nothing seems to be amiss.
I check for traps on the way.
Give me an investigation.
That didn't go as well. It's just a 7.
Looks clear. You don't find any tripwires or any evidence of any riggings. You make your way around the corner to the right. It veers off to the right, opening into another chamber that is about 15 feet by 30 or 50 feet across in front of you, and then 30 feet long. To your right, you can see an open passageway, as well as some sort of recess to the far end kitty corner from you. And just out of sight, you can see a part of the wall is not there, likely another hallway. As you enter in, you see an iron urn heaped with human bones squats in the alcove at the end of the hall, which was the kitty corner one from you. On the wall nearby, a carved relief shows a column of mounted knights charging through a portal into a fiery hellscape.
The
That
Hell
must have been
Riders.
Yeah, the history of the Hell Riders. Well, at least we definitely know where we are. We're in some Hell Rider burial ground.
Lulu kind of floats up nearby and says, I have seen these before.
Well, if you were with Zario, like you claimed, then you probably flew with them before. Right?
I did, darling. I do remember some of this. Goodness, I haven't seen them. They were a little more lively the last time I seen them.
Well, they were also alive when you seen them.
I mean, does have to beg the question, who exactly buried these individuals and who built this structure? Because I don't see many devils or demons in some outsiders build some structure like this undisturbed.
There wasn't even like a ward or anything, which is even crazier. It was just a door. That's the only thing that kept them from entering. Which is why I'm a little on edge about everything being so honky-dory so far, because, like, clearly something had to have gotten in here. If there's no glyph of warding, nothing that's setting off any traps, like, either they've already set off all the traps, or whoever built this died here. That's what I assume.
Everyone give me perception checks.
That's not super good. 12.
9.
17.
Okay, give me a second here. Check something. You got a 12, a 9, and a 17?
Yep.
Who got the 17?
Merle.
Hey.
Off in the distance, Merle, you can hear some sort of groaning or grumbling coming down the hall that's direct, or the hallway that's directly across from this heap of human bones. The
Gentlemen,
iron
it
urn
would seem that we have-
heaped of bones. Sorry, go ahead.
gentlemen, it seems that this large and noise making headed our direction.
I
Oh, there's
ready do a ready stance.
I pull out my trusty pike,
All
and I
right.
guess I ready to attack the thing.
Well, you
it
just
is-
hear some. He just hears some groaning. You can't distinguish if it's moving towards you or not. And then there's another. There's still. So that's coming from the hallway directly. It's behind the urn. And then there's another exit still to the north. That you don't hear anything from. So. Are you going to sit here and wait to see if the noise approaches you? Are you going to head towards the noise? Or are you going to try to exit this room through the north exit?
Could just go through the north.
So I was kind of curious to head towards the noise to see what we're dealing with in here and just get it over with.
It's a good idea.
I'd agree.
We move towards the noise because we're badasses.
Okay. As you kind of scuffle your way around, it bends to the right, and the noise gets louder. And you enter another room with many large burial urns that you can see are positioned once again reverently throughout this big room. This room is about 25 feet wide and 50 feet wide. You can see just a single exit coming out this doorway to your right. And the sound of the noise becomes very evident. You see standing over next to the urns, kneeling, are each urn. There's 3 of them in this room, in 3 of the corners, and by each urn there are 2 mummified creatures in a kneeling position, groaning. Which is the source of the groaning you were hearing earlier.
Hey, Lulu.
Well, yes, darling.
You wouldn't think that'd be one of the saints, would you?
Well, I don't know. It got kind of ugly. They used to be a little more saintly, I think. But I can't rightly tell, to be all honesty. They do have, that's an interesting crest. I recognize that crest upon their necks, and you'll see they've got these. They're wearing medallions, but the medallions are much larger than like the dog tags you saw outside, and they've got a symbol encrusted on them, which you guys have now become comfortable with Zariel's symbol on them. And these mummies appear to be in some sort of like torn apart robes, hooded robes, or at least what's left of them. They're pretty tattered up at the moment.
Hmm.
Hey, roll Arcana. I mean, okay, they look like mummies, but are they mummies?
Give me an Arcana check.
Oh, it's a 15.
They certainly look like mummies, but they don't. It's unusual that they aren't just directly charging at you.
Hmm.
Yep.
While you're observing these for a few minutes, one of them slowly kind of gets up, takes part of its cloth or its robe, and starts polishing one and rubbing on one of the urns, and then puts it back
Caretakers.
down, and then goes back into a kneeling position.
Hmm. So they have been taking care of it. Hmm. Weird. Perhaps we should just leave them alone. They're
Yeah.
not really harming anything anyway.
Nope.
I think
If anything, they're honoring the dead.
So if you guys choose, you can go back the way you came, or there is another exit to the southwest exit out of here, which is to your right, on the wall to your right.
Do you want to go that way?
There are two of these creatures standing right next to that door. They're looking and kneeling down towards the urn, but you're gonna have to walk within feet of them.
I do it. I'm obviously
You-
going to be a little careful about it, but I'm going to walk past them. I think these things, they're not going to hurt me. I think they're harmless.
Sure thing, and I give him a push.
I give him a pat on the back, and he kind of stumbles a little bit.
I look back at you and I'm like, well, I mean, I'm gonna. Have I told you when I'm gonna do something and I don't do it? I'm gonna do it, and I go.
you
walk past them.
you kind of inch yourself. I'm envisioning kind of like those criminals when they break out of prison and are scooching alongside the wall, waiting for the spotlight to find you. But you
No, I
man,
just like walk right past them.
you walk
just-
right past them, and
I'm totally fearless of these guys.
They,
I think they're completely harmless.
they grumble a little bit. It stops for an instant as you're passing them, like this just cuts off, and it's a little interesting, but you manage to walk past them without drawing any attention to yourselves.
Okay. And I
I
follow
just shrug
suit.
and I do one of these like harmless.
I follow suit.
All right, and you guys make your way down this short distance hall.
I told you.
You come into another room that is once again chocked full of large iron burial urns that are positioned reverently throughout this hall. This one's got a very different design. Instead of being like a square room, it's got kind of a more triangular room. You can see 5 more big urns, and you see a large exit at the end that seems to peer right beyond the room.
Guess we just go straight there, huh?
Yeah.
There's nothing else of note in here.
No mummy caretakers.
Nope. You can hear slightly the grumbling again, echoing behind you. You think?
I look behind me.
There's just Merle and right there. You look down. You kind of peek down the hall. They still seem to be just sitting there. As you guys start making your way down, past through this room again, or through this room, it swerves to the right, heading back north. Once again, you enter another room just chock full of these iron urns, these burial urns, all nicely polished. As you guys are walking, a loud rumble happens, and shakes the entire thing, and you see all the dust, a bunch of dust from the ceiling, drops to the floor, coating it in a thick layer of dust. And he sneezes. And Zorax, you realize now that if that happens frequently, it could easily distort your tracking methods.
I think we need to speed up our process here. I think we need to start running.
All right then.
Because if this keeps happening, and I point to the ceiling, well, one, I'm afraid it might actually collapse on us.
Well,
Two,
it's been here for thousands of years. I think you're probably okay. All it
maybe
did
it'll
is
only last for 1,001 years, and we just happen to be on that year.
that would be a douche thing to do, but okay. All right.
But it does help that I do need to keep tracking, and we should probably just keep our pace, if not go a little faster.
Are you going to be looking for traps or anything?
I'm gonna attempt to ignore it next to the doorways.
All right. So as you make it through this other large 15-foot by 30-foot room, you walk to the end and you come along another one of those recesses in the walls holding iron burial caskets. Once again, each casket has a single healthy red rose resting upon its lid. Go ahead and give me a religion check if you're proficient. I think the only one that's proficient is Chiron, correct?
Yep.
Go ahead and give me a religion check.
We're not going in circles, are we?
Hopefully not. Oh, that's a 14.
You recall reading some lore about the signature of a red rose is to keep the souls keep souls at peace. You can't recall exactly any more details about it, but the roses clearly mean something to the dead. Did you give me? Can I get that in investigation check for the traps? What's Merle Zorax? What's Merle doing at the moment? Are you just kind of following their lead?
And just keeping an eye out for things, watching the back.
Okay. Give me a perception check, Merle.
That's a 1.
Oh no.
It's a 9.
You got a 1 and a 9. All right, so you're poking around. You actually find what you think might be a trap. You see this little strange indentation and impression in this flooring. It's very odd. You can't quite pick out, but you feel like something's wrong. Merle, you hear the groaning and grunting is getting louder from behind you.
I don't know about you, but it sounds like something's disturbing the natives.
Hey, Chiron,
Yeah?
take a look at this.
You think it's a
What is
trap?
this? I think so.
Give me an
Why don't you
investigation
just
check.
use your... Oh, stink.
Or you can do something else if you want.
I'm just looking at it like, oh, something's wrong here.
Natural 20 plus 1.
So, for
That's the plus 1.
so after about 10 minutes of Zorax confident there's some sort of trap here,
It's like there has to be.
you're poking around and you can't find any evidence of a trap. You have no idea what he's talking about. Clearly, the dust in the air is getting to him. You look at and you swear it's just random cracks.
I look to him. I think your time in the 9 hells is starting to get to you, my friend.
What's everyone's passive?
I look around real quick
perception?
and I just say,
Mine is a...
I think you're right.
My passive is 11.
Okay.
14.
All right. What did you say, Zorax? I'm sorry.
I said, I think you might be right. As I'm looking around at all the urns and remembering the mummies and all the devils I fought, I'm like, I think you're onto something.
Fortunately, it looks safe after all you've held up the group. The rumbling happens again at this point. A little bit of dust kind of settles back on the ground. You notice that it's covering your tracks, making them look like they've been there longer than they should have been. So you end up in another room. This time it turns to the right, heading back north, and there's just one jar in this time, but it's not as polished as the others. And at this moment, Merle, you see one of the or two of the mummies slowly trudging into this room behind you.
Dude.
Probably just here clean up that urn right there that needs some cleaning.
Right.
Probably just let him do it, honestly.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Do you guys sit and watch, or you just continue onwards?
We just continue.
Yeah, I think
All
we
right.
just continue.
So you go towards you head north. There are two exits. One that goes really long beyond your vision, and then seems to swerve to the right, and another one to your right that just goes to the east. Basically back the same way you just came into this room, down a different hall.
So we do the first option then, I guess.
You want to go
let's
straight
do
around the curved turn?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you make your way through this long passageway. It's long, it's arduous. It seems unnecessarily long. You're probably walking down this passage for a good 5 or 6 minutes before you come to a intersection that goes left and one that goes straight in front of you. Zorax, do you want to give me an survival check, please?
It is an 8. My survival was not actually that high.
So this is really interesting. You see what looks like a couple sets of old prints. Some are coming towards you from the left. They look like they've probably been here for a few months, based on the debris and dust that's built up. And then they seem to be coming. Looks like a group of probably 3 different sets of footprints. And you look and you see that they end up moving towards out in front of you, down the hallway in front of you. So they come from the left and they go out in front of you. Probably just month old at the most. Couple weeks. 4 weeks,
Well,
5 weeks, something like that.
Given what I know about how the dust keeps falling here constantly, these tracks are probably, while they look 5 weeks old, they're probably not 5 weeks old. They're probably really fresh. So there's probably something, and I point straight down the hallway, probably right in front of us. Probably at least 3 things. Probably.
I'm still trying to figure out the mystery behind the urns and the roses.
I think we just
What if?
move forward. I don't think we take the left end here.
And the roses we saw, they were on caskets, right?
Caskets
Yes.
and urns.
Nope, just the caskets.
Just the caskets? Oh, okay.
Just the caskets.
Interesting.
Which means there aren't enough. Which means there aren't any roses on the urns.
Maybe they
But the
prefer to
roses
be
are
cremated.
What does Merle think about this?
Not sure. The fact that there's only one urn in here seems kind of unusual, considering how many there were in the other rooms.
There's no urn here. You guys are in an intersection.
Oh, I meant where we came from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was odd. I'm looking at the map and there's a bunch in the other ones, but that one's got like 1.
Even the DM thinks it's a little strange. I think we just continue straight.
As well.
I think left is probably like some weird mummy living quarters.
All
Someone
right.
should Should someone be making a map of where we've been?
Nope.
Well, right now I guess Zorax is trying to track stuff, so there's that.
Yeah.
I think we just go straight.
Alright, checking mummies
Alright.
going in circles.
All right. So you guys head down this dark tunnel. It starts to open up, and you see several large iron burial urns that are positioned reverently throughout this hall. Each one's engraved with a noble coat of arms from the city of Elturel. Polished swords, lances, and shields hang from the racks and the walls. There are 2 exits out of this room. One is directly across from you, and one kitty corner to the left that seems to swerve off to the left. Zorax, you can see 3 sets of footprints. They look like they shuffle off into the left direction. Probably give me a survival check.
12.
So they look like they're probably like a week or so old, maybe 2 weeks old. They shuffle off to the left, the 3 sets of prints, and then they backtrack on themselves. You can tell, and then go to down the hall straight in front of you.
Just dropped a bunch of stuff.
What do you guys want to do?
I'd say we take the path less traveled. I feel like that the more we follow these tracks, the more we're gonna find these urns. These urns and mummies.
Well, define less traveled. They both look, based on Zorax's information, they look like they've been here about the same amount of time in the 2 directions. The only difference is once the ones went left, they also look like they backtracked and go straight. But they don't seem to be any older or newer than the other tracks.
Let's just go straight.
Yeah, then maybe we should just go straight if they just backtracked.
All right. You guys end up going down this now at this point, this has been a couple hours you guys have been in here. You guys are making your way down this large hallway. Recesses in the walls of hold iron burial caskets. Each casket has a single healthy red rose resting upon its lid. In each of these things, you can see footprints, a set of 3 footprints that make their way around the hall. The hall veers off to the right, out of your line of sight.
And that's the only exit to this room?
Yep. It's not a room, it's just a hallway with some recesses on it. You've seen some similar ones before previously.
I guess we'll just keep on going.
All right,
Right.
so you guys make it down this hall. It takes a curve to a right. You come out into a room, and you see an iron urn heaped with human bones, squats in an alcove at one end of this hall. On the wall nearby are carved reliefs showing a column of mounted knights charging through a portal into a fiery hellscape. And Lulu says, I know that. I know this scene. I've seen this scene before.
We did a couple hours ago.
Says,
That was
I think I was there.
Well, either we're going in circles or they have just painting more than one spot.
agreed.
You see, Zorax, you want to do a survival check?
I'll do it with my talent this time.
He's like, fuck.
17.
All right, so you're looking down at these tracks, and you can see these 3 sets of tracks. There doesn't appear to be any going to the north. Basically, when you came out, there was the urn with the corpse in the left corner, there is a hallway directly across from it, and then to your right is another exit. None of the footprints seem to be going to the right. They seem to kind of huddle around in this room for a little bit and then appear to shuffle down the hallway to the southeast. That's directly across from the iron urn heaped with human bones.
Do these tracks of 3
Do they look like ours?
They are. You realize it. It is your
I was
footprints.
gonna say, motherfucker. When you told me that they backtracked, I was like, we backtracked. We did that one time, motherfucker.
We've been going in circles.
Well,
haven't
only
we?
recently we made the whole circle. We only recently been going in circles.
Oh my god.
Okay, who's got something to write? Who's got something to draw a map? Anyone? Merle? Thorax?
I don't know what I have actually.
Oh man, I was excited for you to get all the way back to the room with the mummies again, and there would be a different number of mummies because the 2 already went away, and see if you could figure it out.
No, I actually don't have anything to write with.
You guys don't have to physically write a map. Because you've actively decided your characters are writing a map, I will keep you informed.
Okay.
I'm not going to make you physically write out a map. But it was certainly fun watching you guys run in a whole circle.
I was actually saying that in character to the party.
Mm-hmm.
But since you said that, we're assuming that we're actively drawing a map.
Now, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had mentioned it earlier and you were onto something, but nobody actually said they were going to, that's a good idea, we should do it. And I think Merle probably would be the best person for it. He does draw schematics and shit.
Yeah.
I do have a cartographer's tool.
Yeah, he does. So I would assume that Merle would start drawing a map from this point onwards.
Mm-hmm. So you just need to go the other direction. That's all we gotta do.
All right, so are you heading north, or are you going to go back to where the mummies were that leave this case? Because you can now hear the groaning down the hall across from the big, giant iron urn heaped with bones.
Which one did we not go to?
One to the north.
I'd say we go north.
Yeah.
All right.
At this point.
So you guys start shuffling out of here. The door, the door is the hallway goes about 10 feet and then curves left. Brings you into this relatively large 40 by 50 foot or 40 by 60 foot long room. You can see lots of urns ornamented in the center. You see a large iron burial urn that are positioned reverently throughout the hall, each engraved with noble coat of arms from the city of Elturel. Polished swords, lances, and shields hang from the racks on the walls. And there's a single exit on the long way, and 2 sets of what looks like mummies bowing down or reverently kneeling at the urn, near the urns in the corner there.
Huh.
Oh, maybe we'll keep walking.
Keep walking.
So at this point, Merle is kind of telling you, "Hang on a second, I'm trying to draw a map." And so are you doing this on your own, or do you have some gizmos that are doing it for you, Merle?
Just do it on my own.
Okay, so he's got out his, I'm not going to say clipboard, he's got out a sheet of paper and a
Piece of wood.
piece of wood that happens to have a clip on it. And he's writing out and drawing the maps. As you guys make it through, you come across another hallway.
I do have to get going for the moment, though. Like
Okay.
right now. So I
Okay,
will
you
be
go.
back in a
You go
bit.
take care of your girl. They'll probably still be wandering in circles when you get back. As you,
Heard that.
I'll play his character for now, as an NPC. So as you guys make your way down this hall, you come across recesses in the walls. There's 3 of them that hold iron burial caskets. Each casket has a single healthy red rose resting on its lid. Zorax looks at the ground and notices no recent footprints that have been here more than a few months, or fresher than a few months. So you're safe to. He's confident that you guys have not been down this hallway yet.
Let's
Let me
go
just-
that way.
I would like to roll religion to see if there's any particular significance of the roses on the caskets.
You can give it a shot, but your religion guy tried already, and could only come up with that it is tied to
Giving fallen warriors a peaceful soul as they rest.
Yep.
That's about
Let's
it.
see.
Yeah, I don't think you rolled very good.
Yeah, I rolled. I think it was like a 14.
What'd you get? Are you rolling, Merle?
Throwing in the human aptitude.
Hmm.
All right. 16.
Ooh. So. You know that in you recall once during your adventures with this really holy devout person, constantly rambling about the different cultures and everything, and you recall him mentioning something about roses being laid over top of caskets of powerful spellcasters who are deceased, that keeps their magically seals their soul so they can't be risen as ghosts, apparitions, wraiths, creatures of the like. It's basically a way to ensure that it seals the soul and protects it from releasing its dark energies or some spiel. You were listening to the guy, but you don't really remember everything he was talking about.
I feel like we should leave the roses on the caskets.
Great.
All right, so you guys make it down the hallway, and as you enter the, go ahead.
For that matter, where do the roses come from? They don't grow in hell.
That's a good question, and I'm gonna be honest. I, as the DM, don't have an answer for you right at this moment.
Here.
Actually, if you give me a second, I probably would. Yep, I know now. I just had to read a little farther. All right, so you guys make your way out of this room, and there is a 15-foot by 30-foot room, and a set. Zorax goes on his knees and starts looking at some footprints, and you can see a set of 4 footprints coming out of a doorway to your left, with an urn directly across from it, a single urn, and 2 mummies polishing it up, and then you see 3 sets of footprints coming out of that hallway and heading down the hallway to the right.
The 4 sets, huh?
The 4, yeah. Well, it'd be, sorry, 5 sets. 5 sets.
5.
He looks and he nudges. He says, "Look." He points out that those 5 sets, 3 of those coming from that hallway are your guys's, and the other 2 are probably belong to those mummies on the single urn. And you've made it back to the room with the only room with a single urn in it.
Okay. Still trying to figure this out. What was that?
The urn polished.
They're polishing it at the moment. It was kind of dirty when you passed through here an hour ago, but it looks really good now.
Huh. I don't even know what to do, to be honest.
Well, you can follow the path back around, which clearly Zorax says that going to the right is the way that we had passed previously. Or you can go back the way you came, or you can head back the original direction you came out, where the mummies followed up behind you to clean the urn. There are, as Merle started writing out this map, you do recall there are certain ways that you guys haven't made your way through.
Yeah, like the first T that upon entry.
Zorax points out to you, he says, well, based on our tracks, we came from that T when we looped around.
Oh.
Because remember, when we approached that intersection, there was a group of 3 that came from the left and then went straight ahead. That was basically us coming in and then going left, and then we ran back into ourselves from the right. But there is a room where you double backed on yourselves and didn't actually go that direction, if you recall.
We haven't tried that direction. Maybe we should try there.
But you got to find it.
It'd be too hard to check all our tracks.
Give me an intelligence check, Merle. Well, you just said it. I don't need a check. You just said follow your tracks. So do you want to follow your tracks backwards?
Yep.
To that room?
Yep.
Hallelujah. So, all right. So you make your way back through the rooms, the big giant urn heaped with bones, back through the hallway, past the caskets, into the original room with the urns. You can see your footprints to the right going down a hallway that veers off to in a diagonal form.
All right.
Let's go that way.
You know what's so funny about this, you guys? Before I even read this next segment, I thought you were gonna get here so quick. Because you literally took all the right decisions right at the beginning, and then at the last minute changed and went a different direction that led to this kind of loop action.
I feel so dominated and embarrassed.
But that's part of a dungeon crawl, right? It's you get to a fork and you go a direction, and that's how it works. Were you trying to say something, Ian? Is that a no?
I'd say that's a no.
No.
Oh, yeah, sometimes your mic isn't picking up. Is it close enough to you? Because I see your mouth moving sometimes, but then I don't actually hear nothing. I can't tell if you're chewing stuff or not. All right, so so as you guys wind your way down this diagonal hall that descends a little deeper, you come out into this massive room where you see 4 memorial Stellus stands in this hall, each engraved with hundreds of names. A legend etched at the top of each stele reads, in common, "Here lie the fallen. May their souls echo here until the end of time." Adorning the wall across from the Stellus is a carved relief showing a solemn, blindfolded angel on the back of a mammoth with feathered wings. The mammoth is reared up on its hind legs, and the angel holds her sword high. All around them are broken bodies of fallen knights and devils.
Who got the wing mammoth? Hey, Lulu, it's not you, is it?
She goes, well, I sure do look good right there now, don't I? I remember that moment. It was a travesty and a beauty at the same time.
I look back and forth between Lulu and the statue. Look,
she's
it
like,
just
Lulu. Y'all been holding back on us.
You've lost
How
weight.
is that even possible? You were that size, and now you're this?
She says, well, I have to be honest, fellas. In my younger years, I was a bit bigger. I've slimmed down since then, as you can tell. My memory isn't the only thing that's really gone away.
Huh. Interesting. A blindfolded angel.
Yeah, I'm trying to... Yeah, so you got the big stela, which is kind of like a... It's like a statue, but it's like it looks more like a tombstone a giant like tombstone with like carving in it, if that makes sense. That if you don't know what a stela is, that this is all engraved on. Do you have detect magic? Either of you? I don't think paladins have
Um,
that, do they? I don't think so.
uh, I have protection from evil and good, darkness, whole person.
Yes, I do.
zone of truth.
All right. Do you have that prepared?
Always.
All right.
Wizard.
Yeah. Do you something about this draws your attention? Um, it's almost like it's humming with power.
I cast it as a ritual so I don't burn the spell slot.
Very clever. You got plenty of time. So you draw an intricate. You actually use the dust on the ground to draw this like intricate pentagram and all these different like very much Full Metal Alchemist style transmutation circle. You set up a couple little candles in it, and you do this long kind of chant that takes a few moments, but a rush of energy lights up around the giant insignia you're standing in, this magical circle, and it releases a thrum of power out from you. That then slams into the stela, and you can get a strong sense of necromantic aura emanating from the engraved names and this stela.
Alright.
The Stellus.
Okay.
Well, what did you find?
A lot of necromantic energy.
Where?
Right here in the tombstone. The stuff.
Tombstone.
And I'm just saying too that earlier when we saw the coffins with the roses on them, that some priest said a while back that they use roses, different type of coffins, to seal the spirits of magical inclined people, so they don't run amok when they're dead or undead, I should say.
Do I see a rose on the tombstone?
You do not. Go ahead and give me.
I'm saying that
Go ahead. Sorry.
my point is there seems to be a lot of things trying to hold in some dead guys, and this might be following suit, if you catch me. I mean,
Right.
It's worth noting that there's multiples of these Stellus. There's 4 of them, and they've got all these names and stuff carved into them too. So they fit. This room's pretty big, and think like a memorial, a monument that we have for like the people that passed from Pearl Harbor and stuff. It's these big giant things with names etched into them.
Do I see names
Right.
of the Stellus?
Give me an investigation check, please.
Oh, stink. 9.
You can see that there are hundreds of names engraved in these stones. Each one says, "Here lie the fallen. May their souls echo here until the end of time." So
It's the same thing.
go ahead and give me an investigation check as well, there, Merle.
that's not good. That's still probably a 9.
Okay.
Let me actually throw in one of my academic die. 18.
What?
19.
All right. So as you're poking around this room and investigating, walking along the wall, let me check something here.
Ruh-roh.
You actually notice that there is a strange, like scratch mark, witness mark that seems to come out in a perfectly strange arc. You actually have seen this before because you've done it in your own. It looks like that there is some sort of hidden door behind part of this wall to the north, and you can see where the stone was dragging on the stone floor, just underneath the heavy coat of dirt. Zorax bends over and dusts it away a little bit, and you can see it even more clearly now that there's some sort of door hidden inside this section of the wall.
I believe we locate ourselves here a secret passage.
All right then.
You don't appear to see any handles or latches or anything of that nature.
If it's unlocked, I will use Thaumaturgy to instantly cause the unlocked door or window to fly open or slam shut.
This one doesn't actually have the details of the other one. Wow. The other one was specifically warded against magic and stuff, but this one is not. So, so with a loud crash, the door just starts slams open. As you walk into this tiny 15 by 15 foot room, you see a stack of 8 leather-bound journals rest atop a large writing table in this very cramped chamber.
Okay. I read the nearest journal.
All right, you pick up one of the journals and start going through it. It's written in like a heavy red ink, and is in common, fortunately. At this point, you characters can spend a short rest, which I don't think you actually need because you chose not to actually just randomly attack the mummies.
Yeah.
So you guys spend easily an hour as you start ruffling through these. Will you both give me intelligence checks, please?
Oh boy. I got no modifier. That.
Show again, you never die.
I got an 11.
Okay.
I'm going to use Flash of Genius to make it 23.
Okay.
If this is a magical evil book, I'm gonna be mad.
As you guys are sitting there, you guys are kind of huddled. You got you all three got different little sections of these books kind of propped open. You're reading through them. Lulu kind of floats over onto the desk and is just laying there. Occasionally, she takes a deep breath and lets out a toot out of her trunk, making a kind of like an elephant, horn noise.
Sneezing?
Yeah. Well, no, it's like that thing elephants do. What is that? When they toot their horn? What?
Trumpet.
Trumpet. Thank you. Yes. She trumpets occasionally, but it's almost like it's a layer of exhaustion. She's taking a deep breath. Like that, but it's trumpeting when she does that. Kind of like a snoring grandpa or something. So as you're reading through these books, we'll start with Chiron. You realize pretty quickly that at the end of every passage is written a name, Olantheus.
Hey, he's back.
Olanthius. Oh, good. Is he back?
Yep.
All right, so let me follow you up. Everyone decided they were walking in circles and decided that it was stupid to keep walking through their own feet, so they backtracked to the one direction you guys didn't go, which led you to a room that was full of these massive monuments that had hundreds and hundreds of names upon them, each engraved with hundreds of names. These steles, which are basically like memorable tombstone type things, with a legend etched at the top, each reading in common, "Here lie the fallen, may their souls echo here until the end of time." there was an adorning the wall across the whole from the Stellus is a carved relief showing a solemn blindfolded angel on the back of a massive mammoth with feathered wings, which the team unanimously decided was in fact Lulu. Um, with the mammoth reared up in her hind legs, the angel holds up her sword high. All around them, broken bodies and falling knights and devils. Merle was able to cast Detect Magic and learned that the whole area is imbued with necrotic energy, and runs through the caskets, through the Stellus, all that stuff. During the investigation of the room, they found a secret passage that led you into a small room that had books, but I'm trying to find my page now because I done lost it.
And journals.
Yeah. Yeah, you found a stack of 8 leather-bound journals that rest atop the large writing desk. The writing is in ink and is in common, and I was just going through and telling everyone what they learned as you guys were resting, taking basically you all sat on the floor and started reading these to help build lore and stuff of what this place was, right? And so here's what you guys found so far. I'm going to need an intelligence check from Zorax if he's helping scour through the books, or if he's just kicking back, playing with his mask or something.
I'm gonna keep watch.
Okay, Chiron, you identified that all of these are signed by Olanthius, and you, as you're reading through it, it's you learn the following information. You learn that Olanthius never recovered from Azariel's capitulation to Asmodeus and subsequent transformation. What?
Capitulation.
Capitulation?
Capitulation.
Capitulation. Capitulation. Capitulation. To Asmodeus. I learned a new word today. Because I figured out what it meant by the words around it, but never seen that word before. Anyways, to Asmodeus and subsequent transformation into devil. He really from the notes you're reading, he blames himself for not seeing the warning signs of Zariel's fall from grace early on. Her single-minded determination to slay demons at all costs, right? Kind of helped hide that. Merle, you're able to kind of get through this a little quicker. You're able to smooth through the paperwork. You learn that Olanthius took his life rather than face damnation, but unfortunately he was transformed into an undead monster by Zariel to serve her forevermore. As you
Much more grim.
Yeah, as you continue to read through, he describes Haruman, this one-time comrade in arms, as a heartless man bereft of compassion, now a devil bent on punishing anyone who stands in Zariel's way. One of the books you pick up, excuse me.
What was that name again?
Which name?
The one that was
Still
serving
serving Zariel.
Haruman.
Haruman.
They're both serving you. Sorry, Al.
Sounds like a cousin of Saruman.
Yeah. So, some of the Bibles, as you start making your way through a couple of the other ones, you can tell that Olanthius mourns the death of his fallen warriors and feels powerless to help them. And it constantly comes through. You can tell that this person, which now you've discovered is technically a monster, is just constantly in mourning for his comrades, and it almost gets to you. And then the biggest piece of information that really drives everything home is he speaks very well of General Yale, whom he clearly respects and secretly adores. In one of the journals, Olanthius hints that he knows where Yale hid the sword of Zariel, but fails to know any location in the notes. Hey, Go ahead.
Do you at any particular point hint why they chose to hide the sword?
Not that you can find. Um, I mean, that would be a great question. That if you could find him, ask him.
Yep. He's not dead. Or demon.
No. Well, you've basically learned that this place is being upheld even with all this stuff, but yeah, a lot of energy and stuff involved in this. So,
Huh. Well, this is interesting.
You guys find anything good over there? Reading books really was never a strong suit for me.
Obviously.
give me
Well,
a.
not obviously, actually. I did really well in the whole library trip we had. Thank you.
Zorax, will you give me a survival check, please?
Sure.
Only you
15.
have that energy to help
Or
us
16.
investigate these books.
What?
I was stuck at the Zorax.
Okay. What did you say, Zorax?
16.
While you're sitting loafing around while they're doing all the hard work, you do notice that there are dusty footprints that aren't your guys's that are really large in this room. And you kind of touch them, you kind of poke around a little bit, and you can assume, you believe, if your assessment is accurate, that they are probably only a week or so old, maybe even days.
Maybe even hours. From
Hey,
the dust feeling.
hey guys,
Yeah?
I got some kind of bad news.
What?
I think something guards this particular room. And it's still here somewhere.
Good. Asking questions.
Think you can
Ah.
follow those tracks?
I'd say it's usually a bad idea, but yeah, why not?
All
Give it a
right.
good. Okay, I'll follow down those tracks, see what happens to me. If I die,
Let's
it's your
go.
guys' fault.
Let's go with him.
As you guys start exiting exiting, once again the area shakes and dust flecks come and drop on the floor and everything. You end up following the tracks. You're making your way in and out through the twisting of the cavern, and the only conclusion you're able to draw after following his tracks is that he must have left the build or left the tomb. Because we remember I mentioned earlier there was a set of dusty prints that looks like it had been there coming and going for a while. So you can only assume that he is currently not home. So you have a couple options.
What if those footprints carried off with the journal that had the information on the Sword of Zariel's location?
What if it has the person that we're looking for?
Also true.
Assuming they're not already dead.
There is one place we haven't looked, and I looked to the other Stellas that we didn't look at.
Okay.
Seeing if there's some sort of magic. Burrow, can you detect magic? Like, on the door?
That's how we got in here.
The other one.
The front door, you mean, to into the building?
No, nah, that's metagaming, sorry.
That's fine. What do you want? What are you trying to do?
You mentioned that there was one other door that was magically warded.
Yes, I did.
And how is that metagaming if we were told that?
Well, I said it in passing because I was looking for rules on this one. It was the door that you guys came in. It was warded. The only thing is, it's not like booby trapped or anything. It's just it's warded to prevent people from opening it unless you have a password. Or
Which you probably have deduced anyway, for obvious reasons.
which you did do, right? You did figure it out. You guys found the little necklace things that had their chant that opens and closes the door. Which is why I thought it was funny you mentioned, I'm surprised that wasn't like magically trapped or anything. And I'm like, it did. It had words all over it, but you guys just bypassed it. I do think it's cool that one of the things that mentions the cracks, if you can turn into like a gas, you can like seep right into, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that would have been awesome for the Azure Crows.
Yeah.
Because Gormo has a spell for that.
Yeah. Anyway, so at this point, you guys have come down to a conclusion. There's not a whole lot more that you have found here, so you can choose to wait out a little bit to see if Olanthius returns, or you can try poking around the temple a little more. Right now, you've kind of avoided causing unnecessary harm or anything.
Yeah, I'll wait for the guy, actually.
Admittedly, not a bad idea.
Beats
It's
walking
safer
around.
here than out there.
Yeah, I was about to say.
All right, so I would say, what is your characters doing in this 3 days of downtime?
Oh, that much, huh?
Yeah.
That much.
Get notes. Get my gear.
Clean your gear, wait and get some notes.
Yeah, cleaning my gear as well. Also, without Lulu distracting me, Chiron would be praying to Bahamut because when he signed the contract with that Bone Devil, he felt a tug on his connection to the Blade of Bahamut. As that happened,
So you're doing a prayer.
Back.
prayer.
He's basically repenting, it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So when you do this, you're on your knees, standing around a couple of urns, and during your repenting, 3 spectral figures launch from the urns, like kind of like genies. They like spiral out of them, and they stop and they look around and they say, "Master, you have returned." And it looks at you and says, "You are not the master." Sorry,
No.
not master. You are not the commander.
Correct.
Why have you invaded our home?
We seek answers.
To which questions, I ask?
The location of the Sword of Zariel.
I see. The commander may be able to help. And the other ghosts kind of look at each other and nod.
Does your commander have a name?
Yes. Commander Olathius.
We found notes of his in a secret chamber with his journals. We found that he discovered that there was a mention of your companion Yale who secretly hid it, but there was no other information.
Well, that is not information for me to give away.
So Olanthius is the key.
Yes. And he should return soon. He always has to do... He, unfortunately, against his will, is forced to follow Zariel's will. That occasionally requires him to leave our home and our prison in order to do her work. It's
So-
disgusting. She was great once, you know. We, all of us, and he starts pointing to the other ones and says, we fought and died alongside the angel Azariel when she waged war in Avernus years ago. Unfortunately, another one takes over. Unfortunately, Zariel's crusade ended in failure. Most of our generals, including Zariel herself, fell to evil and transformed into fiends. The only one that escaped was Commander Elanthius. You know, he took his own life rather than embrace the tyranny that would be Asmodeus and Zariel's fall from grace. Unfortunately, she then forced him back. Wretched, wretched woman.
Does Zorax hear any of this?
Yeah, you guys can hear this. It's echoing kind of down the halls. We yearn for the afterlife. But the oath we swore to Zariel binds us to her service.
So this is kind of
I
when
see.
Zorax's character kind of comes into play a little bit, actually, because if there's one thing he hates more than anything, it is the things that he views as his enemies are those who like bind against the person, like bind against someone's free will, which may sound irony because you know he's evil, but like he has like a law that he does tend to follow, and this is kind of like breaking one of those laws that you're taking away the freedom of, which is in and of itself power. And he hears this, and you can just like the rage just emanating off of him is so powerful that it almost goes to something even higher than rage, where it just becomes just hatred. It is just spite, and it's just it.
One of them looks over to you and says, I know that anger. We feel that every moment of our never-ending life. We just seek peace. And while we're under her servitude, we can't. We can't.
I was once possessed by a devil. A high-ranking one, whom is still with us, somewhere in a bag.
Oh, I forgot you tossed his ass inside of the bag of scolding. Did you?
Well, this one's a regular bag of holding.
Oh, bag of...
I was given a seal with a tongue twister.
Bag of scolding, other bag.
Oh.
The other group.
The other
this is
group.
the bag of...
Okay, I gotcha. I got them mixed up. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's... Imagine if anger was the color red. This is like a dark red, where it's just like, it's just turning into something worse. Like when he had that happen to him, it mentally changed him, where he's like, these are definitely my enemies, and now he is consciously thinking that Zariel is his enemy.
Are you
like,
are you saying any of this, or?
I just say that Zariel needs to be stopped, if not put down from her place.
Will you free us from our bonds?
We have to do.
I'm not sure if that would lead into that, but it would be a nice little touch to add if it does help you guys.
They start to the ghosts start to kind of cheer up these knights. If they could cry, they probably would. At that moment, Merle, you hear a thundering rumbling. Now, it's not the same that has been caused in the dust, but you can hear this thundering echoing from the beyond the exit door, and it is loud and beating. And can I get a nature check from you guys?
Nature? Oh god.
I am proficient.
Here goes nothing. I got a 15. Hell yeah.
17.
Ugh.
All right, so you hear this, and immediately, Chiron, you recognize the noise, almost like hoof beats, coming from the other side of the room, or the other side of the coming from down the hall out towards the exit, and the one of the ghosts looks at you. It looks like Commander Oletheus has arrived. Now, be forewarned, if you wish to speak to him. He has been cursed under Zariel, but there is good in him. Do not be frightened. Though it's possible he will consider you a threat to our catacombs. So be careful in how you approach. And you can hear the thundering out, and as it gets closer and closer, are you guys want to wait for him to come in, or do you want to meet him outside so you're not stuck in confined spaces?
We wait for him to come in.
I'll wait to come in. At least then he'd be on his home turf.
Maybe he'd be more comfortable that way. Guess. Works for me.
So
I
what's
guess we're here.
So what'd you guys decide on?
I think we're staying.
You gonna stay in?
Stay in.
All right.
Maybe the ghost will help us.
Well, they serve him, so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, help us, not make him kill us.
So, as you guys start to hear, the door slides open with a loud thunderous crash, and you hear these just heavy boots. You hear what sounds like the dragging of metal on stone. As you guys are inside this room, where is this? Let me.
Beget.
I think I know what he is.
This thing, this fully armored creature with glowing red eyes, standing the size of, I would say, almost giant-like of a man. His face cloaked in darkness, and I need an arcana. Oh no, you guys, yeah, you guys read about devils and demons, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll need a religion check then from you guys to determine if you know what this is.
Bing.
Actually,
I know.
yeah, I actually, because I just read something in the flavor, you guys might actually just know this.
Okay.
So, Chiron and,
Roll an 18 that matters. So
it does.
I rolled a 1, so it doesn't matter to me.
9.
It doesn't matter. The fact that you're paladins means you automatically know this. Before you is what happens when a paladin dies and falls
He's
from
an
grace.
Oathbreaker? Holy fuck!
He is actually.
Holy shit.
Well, hang on there. He is a death knight.
Oh, that's worse.
A once
that's
mortal
worse.
knight forced into bondage by Zariel, a skeletal warrior with fearsome plate armor. Beneath its helmet, one can see the knight's. You can see the knight's skull with malevolent pinpoints of light burning in its eye sockets. With a loud, thunderous roar, and he says, "Why have you invaded the catacombs?"
you learn.
We seek answers.
I
He holds open his hand, and you see this big fiery orb. He says, "As do I."
I take my longsword and I stab it into the ground, and I take the kneel like the soldiers outside, and I say in Celestial, "For glory."
The fireball winks out of existence. How is Merle reacting?
Where's Lulu?
Where's Lulu? Oh God, where's Lulu?
She actually floats up right behind you guys as this guy approaches, and he stops dead in his big clunky tracks. He says, "You,
With her.
the Mount of Zariel, why have you come? What more does she want from me? I have finished the job she has tasked me."
She
Lulu is just kind of like, I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what you're talking about.
I slowly turned to Lulu. What did you do?
No, she didn't do anything.
He.
This isn't.
Go ahead.
She.
Old no memory
He-
thing.
Zariel is ordering him because Zariel is a fallen angel. Lulu hasn't done anything. Lulu's just been sent back to the mortal plane for whatever reason, and we're still figuring that part out. But she hasn't told him to do anything, as far
But
as we're aware.
yeah, but you guys already made the connection that she is the Mount of Zariel and her ally. So he may be. You guys are assuming he might be making a connection there, because of his previous life knowledge of her.
Right.
He
Hold
says,
up. She doesn't work for Zariel no more.
She has partial amnesia. There are memories of her time with you missing.
"I see. So then why have you invaded my home?"
To learn about what happened in the past to give us clues on how to handle Zariel so we can save lives. No,
"I
lives.
see. And why shouldn't I just turn you over to Master Zariel?
Because you don't want to.
And why would you think that? I serve Master Zariel."
I point to the
My
three
lord.
urns because they told us of your predicament.
His little red eyes flash over to the direction, and they just kind of get a were we not supposed to say that kind of look? Says,
We know you want to save your soldiers. And I understand what it's like to be something of a commander to other people.
Yeah. You also can leverage the fact that you read his journals and understands he has a hatred for her. I don't know if you want.
I was gonna say, don't you hate Zariel? Why would you want to? It's a little weird.
To be fair, we only read your journals because we thought you were dead. But you are.
Yes,
Kind of.
kind of.
You're like sort of dead.
Not the fun kind.
Yeah.
So you're here to challenge Zariel in her power?
Well,
Tall order for some so weak. As he looks down at you.
I mean, we're not dumb. Like, that's why we're trying to find the Sword of Zariel, because supposedly it's a powerful artifact, and it could help us either stop her and save you, or at the very least, do something to save El Terrell.
Yeah, that's kind of
Which is
Right
kind of
here,
how we got
too,
here to
good.
begin with.
yeah.
Yes, El Terrell is now in Avernus. I'm sure you know because you serve Zariel.
Let's see.
We came here at the behest of Candle Keep.
True. Does he know about Candlekeep? Has Candlekeep been around that long?
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Okay.
He says, so, what exactly is it you need of me?
Well, holes to fill in terms of Lulu's memory. And upon reading your journal, you know where the Sword of Zariel is.
Or at the very least, someone who knew where the Sword of Zariel is.
I do. What of it?
We want to save people.
We want to save El Terrell. We want to free it from her grasp.
And if it helps, defeating Zarya would also probably break your contract with her, giving you the peace you'd deserve. And your men.
I see. Well, then let us make a deal. I will reveal the location of the bleeding citadels. But you must create a diversion to distract Zariel from the tasks at hand.
Distract her. How exactly?
Seek out the demon lord Kostichi, who is imprisoned in Avernus and whose hammer Zariel stole. If freed, the demon lord is sure to want its weapon back, which should create problems for the master.
Clarifying as a player, the Zariel has this demon lord's hammer.
Aye. And you guys actually remember the image on all the lore and stuff that you've seen coming in. Remember the image of the angel fighting a winged angel fighting some monster with a demon with a hammer. I think it was was that on the door? I think that was on the door.
I think that was on the door, yeah.
I thought it was an archdevil.
Well, demon, archdevil, obviously we all learned that I can't tell the fucking difference, okay?
I'm sorry.
The point is that Zariel whooped its ass.
And stole his shit.
Yeah.
I
mean,
but anyways,
all
he
we have to do is
says,
free it, right?
Honestly, if
yes.
all we have to do is release a archdevil to beat the living crap out of Zariel, who will then in turn get their crap beat out by Zariel. Like a good time. And if demons suffer, I call it a win.
I was gonna say, sounds like a win-win, honestly. Only problem is, I don't know how long of a distraction that'll work, considering she beat his butt the first time.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if this archdevil,
demon.
archdevil was powerful. Whatever. If this archdevil, if this creature is powerful to rival Zariel, but he's been in prison for a long time, so it could go either way.
He got deflated.
But that's not. But that's not the point.
Oh.
The point is to use his freedom as a distraction for Zariel to focus on. Isn't that right?
That is what I said.
Leave prison jack.
It depends on what type of prison. World prisons here? Sure. Prisons where you're bound in chains and can't move? Probably not so much. All right, so he says, the Archis of Ulak has a summoning circle that can send you to Kostichi's maw, where the demon is being held. As long as you have a clear destination in mind, and you pass through the arches, I'm happy to provide you the directions to the arches of Ulak, and even offer transport to help get there quicker.
That sounds like my fine deal.
Agreed.
Now,
No.
you have to understand what I am entrusting you with. If you break the bond between us, you don't just release my soul from Zariel's bond, but all of the Hell Riders who fought for her and died. Thousands and thousands of us.
Number.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes.
I
It was
don't.
mentioned. Those
But-
three mentioned it.
I don't do this lightly.
Shouldn't.
For if we fail and she finds of our betrayal, our punishment will be far worse than undeath.
Understood.
In that case, I recommend that you don't provide a transport. Just give us the directions, at least give you some more levels of plausible deniability.
That's entirely up to you. But I promise, travel of this distance will be difficult without some sort of transportation. While I'm
We
happy
did-
to let you go without it, if I want this to succeed, it's a risk I'm going to have to be willing to take.
I'd say we
Well,
use the
Maybe first
transportation.
compromise. Hold up. Some sort of transportation from elsewhere, we could steal by any chance? Procure, if you will.
That's interesting.
Where would you acquire
Maybe
these things to
you.
begin with?
These devices are unique to Avernus and are hard to find. But you could just procure mine. But if you need to steal one, you could probably find a couple around. They're very high rate of speed. They're very deadly and dangerous.
I'd say we take one that's already
The rest I
tamed.
know.
He says, "Follow me," and he starts walking out towards the stairs. He mentions the password. The door opens. He goes up top, and you see this just strange sight. Attached to a massive chariot is two steel-looking bowls. And he says, "That one is mine. Come this way." And he leads you guys probably for a few minutes. He jumps into his chariot. The gorgons or the steel bulls, snarl and stuff, and he leads you about about a league away to a broken down area in which you see a big giant like red and brown tarp covering over top of this debris. And underneath it, he pulls it off. Let me find this thing. Dang it. Hang on. And underneath it pulls out this big metal monstrosity. It's got large steel metal wheels. There's like jagged like spinning shield on the front, almost like a circular saw. He says this is a precious commodity here. It's one of the best forms of transportation besides magic, but that's not available to, everybody in the area. Hang on a second. What is this thing called? I forget what it's called. There's a name for this thing, and I can't freaking find it. He says this is known as an infernal machine. This one I call the demon grinder. As you look at the big giant blades in the front, it makes sense.
All right.
He says, "You must know that it runs on soul coins."
Does it get 10,000 miles per?
No, unfortunately. It gets about 1,000 miles per soul. I mean gallon.
Not bad.
per soul coin.
Not bad.
He says, unfortunately, your destination is 5,000 miles away. I have 2 soul coins that I can give you. You will have to find the rest along the way.
That means we
Didn't
gotta slay
that
some
one-
demons.
Didn't that devil give us one?
He did?
Yeah.
So we find ourselves some demons to kill.
Well, luckily you have the grinder. I find it's very efficient.
Does it devour their souls as it runs them over?
No. Oh, you're confused. The souls in the coins aren't devils or demons. They're the souls of mortals.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Great.
So we gotta find some mortals to put in for the machine, huh?
Well, that would be a very highly processed form of energy, so yeah, that seems to check out.
Uh,
That's a good one.
so I think that's where we're gonna stop for the night.
Ah,
You didn't think I was gonna let you guys get through this without having a fucking race car with buzzsaw on it, did you?
yeah.
Are you sad that you got to now decide whether it's worth it using human souls?
Oh no, Zorax is absolutely gonna do it.
He's right on
100%.
board with it. He don't even
I'm
give
like,
a damn.
All right, I can work with this. I've killed a lot of people in my day. This is nothing.
I would have just gone with a magic teleport.
Which magic teleport do you got there, buddy?
Didn't he offer us the option?
He's giving you a
But
way
some-
to get to the place where the teleporter is.
Yeah.
To teleport you across the realm or the plane.
Yeah, so, which magical teleport device do you got?
So you
I
could
see
try
it, the coin's already in form anyway, so it's not like we killed the person these belong to.
True.
You just gave me an awesome idea, though.
Oh no.
All right, that'll do it for our episode 15 of our descent into Avernus. Before we close out here, why don't we go through and tell us who you played and what you like about the adventures, starting with Merle.
Once again, I'm Ian Wood, co-host for Crit Academy, and I played Merle Bronson, Human Artificer. And I think this little Held car here is the best Christmas present ever.
Oh, I've got plans for you and your artificer shit, so don't you worry. All right, Austin.
Hey guys, I'm Austin. I'm another co-host at Crit Academy. I was playing Zorax, the Voidwalker Paladin. I also have some interesting plans for this character in the near-ish future, depending on how near it gets. My favorite part this time was probably
The part you left.
no. I wasn't sure if me dealing Downslaying for Glory helped at all, but I was really banking on it. I was like, oh, this might be smart.
It did. Very cool. All right.
But other than that, I mean, I don't know. It's always cool to have downtime in D&D because it happens so rarely.
Mhm.
So you always get weird, interesting effects happening. So that was all.
Chiron.
Hi, my name is Matthew, and I've played Chiron, the Tiefling Vengeance Paladin. This was an interesting session. There was a lot of lore to discover, and the fact that Lulu was a giant mammoth.
Was a bit wild.
Yeah, she was.
Like, how does that even work on upper planar beings?
Guess
They're
we'll find
magic.
out.
They're
It's
mojo.
magic. They're mojo. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. This was definitely a different approach to running the game. I don't usually do the room by room dungeon crawls, but this one very much is a labyrinth design, and I thought would be fun since it's rich in lore and story. But more importantly, gave you guys opportunity. I really expected you guys just to attack the mummies. And
Well, when we saw them polish the urns,
Yeah, I was like,
we
I mean,
think
I'm
that
not
they're...
seeing them do anything. They're just kind of like being relaxed, and
And besides,
Zorax
we're
as
in
a
hell.
character, while normally would attack stuff, he just looked at it like, oh no, they're cleaning the burial urns of the soldiers that fought here. Now that makes sense.
Yeah, that's their sole directive.
He's kind of a soldier. Literally, that's his background. So I mean, that's kind of in his
soldier.
MO.
That's funny. I like that. I like what you did there. Well, like I said, it was a different foray for me. Normally, I just kind of hand wave that sort of stuff or let the checks do it. But I did like the fact that you guys were wandering in circles. That was kind of funny.
That was not my most proudest moment here.
Yeah.
What made it worse is I wish there had been traps, but you can't have traps in a place designed for these mummies to wander around aimlessly because they're stupid and would probably trigger every single one. So I just like, well, we'll figure something out. Anyways,
Yeah.
always trying different things in the stories and campaigns and different approaches because you never know what'll work. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this session. Thank you guys for being a part of it. Um, if you're made it to the end of this, thank you. If you're watching or you like our show, we appreciate it. Consider checking out Crit Academy. It airs live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we talk D&D, we talk role play, we give you new tips, new tricks. Our Under Tips and Tricks is a popular segment. Everybody loves it. We're constantly releasing new D&D content. I just released our Living Testament, the Three Magi, a 5th edition adventure for Bible stories. So I'm really excited for that. And I have a new arcane tradition coming out, the Arcane School of Binding, which is all about binding elementals to your servitude in very much the classic pet warlock or pet format. So instead of focusing on casting spells, you channel your spell slots into a minion to unleash unique features that you wouldn't have otherwise. So keep an eye out for that to drop soon. So I think that'll do it for our show today.
Yep.
Keep your blades sharp and spells
Yep.
prepared, heroes. See you guys later.